HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Doblowy. Touchdown Raiders.
At this time, the boys basketball team and the athletic department would like to recognize 3 great individuals, our seniors, who put in so much time and dedication on the hardwood here at Hastings and in the classroom. Our 3 seniors, number 15, Max Albertson.
And we are back on KDWA. We want to welcome those of you watching on Hastings Community Television tonight inside Hastings High School. It is senior night, and you are looking at 3 basketball seniors who are being honored. Max Albertson, Evan Koenigs, and Kelvin Maher having their senior night ceremony. I'm Trey Lauer, sports director at KDWA. Happy to be joined by Max's father, Ross, who's going to join us for color commentary tonight. And we were talking about your son on the radio side before the break, but for the TV listeners, this has to be a pretty cool moment for you.
Oh yeah, it's a cool moment for any parent. You know, I know Kelvin's mom and Evan's parents are also, it's kind of surreal when it ends. Yeah, you know, these guys have been playing basketball. Some nights are rough because it's just a long grind. But when it ends, it's you kind of can't believe it, and you just wish for another game. You wish for another home game, and this is it for these guys.
Yeah, it is, and an opportunity to get a good win tonight. Obviously, against a Hill Murray team that is on a pretty lengthy losing streak here, and obviously Hill Murray looking to get back into the win column. They have not won since their season opener. Hastings winning the first meeting 91-67. This is a good opportunity for the Raiders tonight to try and get some momentum and improve themselves going into section play in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and really it's these are 17-year-old kids and younger. And
right, that's the biggest thing, is we're giving the kids the spotlight.
Giving the kids the spotlight, and confidence is such a huge thing. In a game like this for either Hill Murray, but hopefully for Hastings, to gain some confidence and to say, you know what, we found something, we found a rhythm, we're ready to play. That can really get you on a roll going into sections.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the starting lineups tonight for Hastings. It will be, actually we'll start with Hill Murray. Number 4, we mentioned in our radio broadcast, Xavier Daniels. He is their leading scorer for the Pioneers, and Joe McGurran, number 11, is their second leading scorer. Colton Ricker, number 22, is also in the starting lineup, along with number 34, John Petraszewski, and number 35, Mark Kelly. The Raiders starters, number 22, Kellen Newton, number 1, Owen Bernatz, number 15, Max Albertson, number 13, Evan Koenigs, and number 12, Kelvin Maher. One thing I love about senior night is they get a chance to start, and that's just, they get their name called as a starter on senior night. Always a fun moment for me.
Yeah, and for anybody who's been in a sport and been in a situation like this, it may not seem like a big deal if you're not a part of it, but it really is when you are.
Yeah, and taking a look at the Metro East standings again one more time, it's Matamidi and St. Thomas Academy at the top battling. Hastings plays St. Thomas on March 3rd, but the Raiders are currently sandwiched between their current opponent and their next opponent, Simley. We're at 3-10 in the conference for the Raiders. Hill Murray at 0-13. So there's a lot at stake tonight. Hastings could potentially jump Simley in the standings should the Spartans lose their next game. And that game will have some meaning to it in terms of conference positioning. But for Hill Murray, looking to end a 20-game losing streak here tonight. As Hill Murray, it looks like that's going to be number 35, Mark Kelly, taking the tip off with Kellen Newton. And Newton gets it out to Owen Bernatz. We are underway. Owen Bernatz has the ball. He crosses that timeline with it to Newton at the right elbow, back to Koenigs for 3 immediately. And he immediately buries a 3 from the right wing to give Hastings a 3-0 lead.
And that is so fun to see. Evan, he deserved that shot. He worked so hard. And as a senior, getting that first play called for him and hitting that shot, that's a lot of fun.
And this one's deflected by Hill Murray trying to pass it inside, and Hastings gets the deflection. Maher had the basketball and gets fouled at the right elbow by Xavier Daniels as the Koenigs 3. He just got open on the right wing and just buried it.
And don't you think that'll be something to maybe keep an eye on? We've got number 4.
Parker McGinnis.
No, number 4 for
Hill Murray,
Sorry
Xavier
about
Daniels.
that. Xavier
Yep.
Daniels. He's already got 1 foul.
Raiders
He's there.
drive inside, and Kellen Newton gets it off the window. 5-0 Hastings with 17:13 left here. Daniels has the basketball for Hill Murray back into the right wing with two-tone shoes. Has it back out to Petraszewski. And now at the top of the key, it's Kelly. At the free throw line, I should say, and then back out to Daniels in the right. Daniels guarded by Koenigs. Backs his way inside. A 3 on the way by Petraszewski. Good. And Hill Murray ties it right back up at 3 with a corner 3 from the sophomore John Petraszewski. Now it's Maher to Bernatz to Koenigs in the right wing. And Bernatz bottled up by Daniels. Driving in from the free throw line into Newton, and Newton is fouled under the basket. We'll be interested to see if they give him 2 free throws here or if it'll just be Raider basketball. Looks like it will just be an inbound.
Very nice play by Bernatz, though, getting that ball to the middle of the lane, and then the nice little pocket pass down to Newton to get him in position, at least to get fouled.
Koenigs to Newton inside the free throw line. Bounces once, bounces twice, rims out. And Daniels gets the rebound for Hill Murray. Now Daniels crosses timeline into the front court. Petraszewski tries to set up a screen, but nobody there. Here's McGurran with it. McGurran kicks it back out to Kelly. Daniels left wing for 3. Nothing there, and rebounded by Bernatz for the Raiders. Bernatz to Newton all by himself in the lane, and he lays it in. And a big-time screen because he gets the foul, too. So he's going to the line for the free throw, and one coming for Kellen Newton, and it's 7-3 Hastings.
And a really good run out and a really good push ahead right there by Owen Bernatz, getting it up to Kellen. Can't have that if you don't have a guy like Kellen Newton out on his horse running well.
Absolutely. And so he'll go to the line here for a chance to complete the 3-point play, and he does, and that makes it 8-3 Hastings here, just about 2 minutes gone in the basketball game.
And so right here, that's what Max Albertson does really well for Hastings. He can push the pace and speed up the defense, speed up the offense with his defense down there, as you'll see him playing at full court.
Daniels drives in for Hill Murray, unable to connect, fight for the rebound. We're going to get a tie-up, I think, here, or are we going to get a foul? Foul call. Oh, jump ball. So it'll stay with the Pioneers as Petraszewski will inbound it, standing on the A and the S in Hastings on the baseline. He will throw this one in top of the key. Now McGurran has it over to Ricker. Ricker is double teamed, throws it back to McGurran just near the logo. And now Ricker has it in the left wing, back top of the key to McGurran. McGurran, again, one of 2 in double figures for Hill Murray, averages about 10 a game. Can't connect on a 3, and it's rebounded by Koenigs to Maher.
And I think you're going to see
Maher, runner on the way, no good. Gets his own rebound.
One of the stories today is Lucas Foss isn't playing, and so I think you're going to see the senior Koenigs play a little more tonight anyway.
Interesting. That's news to me. And so with 15-18 left here in the first half, Hill Murray has the basketball as Coach Chad Fikema and this young Raiders team, only 3 seniors on the roster. And this is a team that really can compete with anybody, but always seems to find themselves in a situation as Hill Murray gets this one in to go 8-5. Saw especially against South St. Paul. You know, they were up in that game, and then there's just one moment that it gets away from them.
Yeah, and the same thing, I tell you what, I was at the Matamita game, and you'll see that box, that scoreboard, and it was a blowout for Matamita, but the first half was fun and good basketball until exactly what you said, the game got away from them.
Yeah, so obviously Coach Fikema and staff working on that as Bernatz missed one, a runner just inside, and now here's a replay of Daniels getting fouled, bringing it up the floor, and it will stay with Hill Murray. Daniels with the basketball, driving in, can't get it to go off the window, gets his own rebound, and then gets fouled. And so Xavier Daniels will head to the free throw line for Hill Murray with 14:40 left in the first half, and the Raiders on top 8-5. 2 shots coming for Xavier Daniels. Our radio listeners, Hill Murray is in white with green numbers. Hastings in blue with gold numbers on this snowy Tuesday night. As Peyton Lee Dean checks into the game along with Matthew Foss, and Albertson and Koenigs check out. Daniels hit the first free throw, misses the second. It's rebounded. And now Bernance has it as he crosses the timeline with it. Owen Bernance back into the right wing to Kelvin Maher. Bounce pass into Foss. Just goes past him out of bounds. And so it will go back to the Pioneers 8-6 with 14:27. Well, the weather not keeping people away. Pretty nice crowd in here tonight for senior night. Yeah, they do show up for senior night, and they support their Hastings basketball pretty well here, so we're glad to see that. Nice student representation on the other side as well as Hill Murray brings up the floor. It's Daniels in the left wing. Daniels passes it over to McGurran in the right. McGurran bounce pass into Kelly. Ball is loose on the floor. Fought for, and a great scramble by Kelvin Maher to go after the basketball, but it looks like he ran out of bounds with it, or slid out of bounds rather with it, and it will be Pioneer basketball. Petrozewski to inbound. And that's Kelvin I'm used to seeing. Diving, hustling, being a leader. That's and fun. There's another Maher turnover as he gets the takeaway on the other side, I should say. Bernance drives in and gets it to go off the window with the speed. And you'll see when Owen attacks, he's got an uncanny ability to get to the rack, get fouls, and get that ball on the hoop. Kelly, a floater on the way, rattles in good for Hill Murray. It's 10-8 with 13:45 left in the first half. Here's Foss in the left wing, gets it into Newton. Newton loses the handle, then gets it back out to Kelvin Maher. Maher with the basketball at the top of the key, now around to the right wing of the three-point line. Newton to Bernatz in the left. Bernatz to Lee Dean, top of the arc, back into the right to Maher. Got it deflected, looking for Newton in the elbow. Now Newton kicks it back out to Bernatz. Bernatz will drive in, runner on the way, a layup on the way. He's fouled on the layup attempt. And he will head to the free throw line for Hastings with 13:15 to go in the half. And that was really nice recognition by Owen. Kellen kind of came out of the lane, got to the elbow, and then stepped out toward the three-point line, clearing it like a wide open ocean, and Owen just took advantage. And so Bernatz at the line for 2 free throws. Hits the first. Bernatz leads the team in scoring, leads the team in steals, and I think he also leads the team in assists. Just been a very productive player for the Raiders this year as Maher will check out of the game and Kyan Esterby comes in for Hastings. Second free throw on the way for Bernatz is good. 12-8, Hastings in front with 13:15 to go. This again a Hastings team that really played very well against South St. Paul last week. Ultimately coming up a bit short, but played very well in that contest. And looking to get a win tonight against Hill Murray. And then they play Simley as this is a takeaway the other way for the Raiders. Foss has it, gets it into Weston Schultz, and then it gets wedged as Schultz passed it to Esterby. Esterby went for the layup, it got wedged. And then Hill Murray's number 10, Sam Lehner, gets it down, and we'll continue on with basketball as there's a good look by Foss, and then Schultz the bounce pass to Esterby, but the ball didn't want to go anywhere. Yeah, it was good sharing of the basketball, exactly what you want, but you want to put it into the basket, not wedge it on the side. Raiders do get one in there on the inbound. Peyton Lee Dean scores, and it's 14-8 as Hill Murray trying to do something with it, but really not a lot of room to do much of anything, and now the Pioneers turn it over the other way as Lehner looked on a pass attempt that just goes out of bounds. And so with 12:44 remaining in the first half, Raiders have opened up a 6-point lead, 14-8, and it will be Foss from left to right to inbound it to Weston Schultz. And Schultz will bring it into the front court for Hastings. Schultz one-on-one to Esterby, guarded by Daniels, now into Newton at the free throw line. Back to Esterby. Outside it goes again, now into Newton from the free throw line, and Newton will take a jumper there. That won't go, fights for the rebound, but the Pioneers come away with it. Number 23, DeCario Brown with the basketball. Back into the left wing for Hill Murray. A foul, a big foul, as number 11, Joe McGurran, takes a spill trying to drive inside. He's fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. Yeah, that was a good attack by McGurran right there. He saw Kellen's left foot kind of out of balance, and he attacked that left foot and got himself a nice little free throw opportunity. Can't connect on the first free throw. And so stays 14-8 with 12:18 left. 4 fouls for Hill Murray, 3 fouls for Hastings. Again, Raiders are the favorites tonight, you would think, on paper, based on strength of schedule and what's happened with Hill Murray this year, as McGurran hits the second free throw. 14-9 with 12:18 left. Newton will check out of the game. Koenigs comes back in. And Weston Schultz will cross the timeline for Hastings. Has it to Koenigs, and it's turned over the other way to Hill Murray. Bounce pass to Brown. Brown almost loses the handle and takes it back out to the left wing, where he is doubled
solid
up.
trap.
Great defense by the Raiders, as Esterby and Koenigs on the double team trapped him, and it's going to go right back to Hill Murray, though, as it was knocked out of bounds.
Yep, and I think they called a foul on Koenigs, maybe a little reachy in that trap, but I like the aggression. I like what Hastings did there.
Well, we've got a timeout on the floor, so for our radio listeners, we're going to step aside, and we'll be right back. Here inside Hastings High School. And Raiders on top, 14-9 over Hill Murray. Trey Lauer and special guest Ross Albertson. For the radio listeners, you've done stuff with HCTV before, but for the KDWA audience, you're new, and happy to have you with us on that side tonight, as well as, again, there's a little bit of a look at the crowd that we talked about. Really nice crowd on hand here tonight. Daniels back into the left, has it back out top of the key to Hill Murray to Joe McGurran. McGurran to Daniels in the left, guarded by Schultz, and a little bit of a tap on the hand by Daniels there, as a no-look pass back out into the right to McGurran. McGurran double teamed on the baseline. It's turned over the other way to Hastings. They'll get it right back with 11:43 to go here in the first half.
And Hastings is running this 3-2 zone that they've become very accustomed to, and it's tough to play against if you haven't seen it, and if you're not quite prepared for it. And Hill Murray's having a little trouble right now.
Here's Weston Schultz crossing the timeline. Bobble looking for Koenigs, and then volleyball down to a Pioneer. Brown will drive in, will get the lay-in, and it's down to 3, 14-11 with 11.5 to go. As Schultz crosses the timeline, back to Foss, back to Schultz, top of the three-point line into Ledeen. It gets blocked under the basket, and good defense there by the Pioneers to prevent a Peyton Ledeen basket.
Yeah, that was a good collapse by the Pioneers, but a really great pass by Weston just to get that down to Peyton. Looked like an easy deuce, but the Pioneers collapsed real quickly.
So Bernatz will inbound. He's got Koenigs, Foss, Newton, and Schultz with him on the floor. Gets it into Schultz, now around the horn it comes. All the way to Koenigs and back to Bernatz in the far right wing. Bernatz drives in, can't get the runner to go, and rebounded by Hill Murray. Pioneers will bring it up the floor. Here's Daniels with it for Hill Murray. Daniels, and it's taken right back by the Raiders. Bernatz bounce pass to Schultz on the run. Back to Foss. Foss is fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
And so for all you guys that maybe aren't as tall as the other guys, Schultz did a great thing there. He recognized, I'm going to get that shot blocked, and dished her right back to Foss, and we got a good foul out of that.
So Foss at the line for 2. With the Raiders in front by 3, make it 4 as he hits the first free throw to make it 15-11 with 10:59 remaining here in the first half on this Tuesday night, a snowy Tuesday. And second free throw no good, and it is Sam Lenner on the rebound. Lenner back out to Daniels. Daniels back into the right wing, and then it's going to be turned over to Hill Murray, or Hill Murray turns it over to Hastings going the other way as it goes along the baseline.
And again, the 3-2 with hands high, it's tough for Hill Murray to figure out the passing lanes to pass that thing to, and it's resulted in 2 straight turnovers.
Bernatz crossing the timeline for the Raiders, back to Foss in the left, and almost taken away by the Pioneers, but Bernatz drives inside, and then a fight for the ball. He's got to it, but then they're going to call a jump ball, as there was about 4 different players that had a hand on that basketball. So with 10:36 remaining in this first half. Almost said first period. I have hockey on the brain somehow. It's section season. 10:31 left. Raiders on top, 15-11. Hill Murray's got the ball on the right wing to Daniels under the basket. Fouled, can't get the shot to go, but Daniels heads to the free throw line.
And so that was a good attack right there by Hill Murray. They got the ball down into the corner, drove a seam, and when you do that against a zone, you're going to find some open lanes to pass that thing to.
So Daniels hits the free throw, cuts it to 3, 15-12. And this is a much tighter fouled game than a couple of games ago that we were here on KDWA against Tartan, where we went almost 10 minutes of the first half without a single foul being called. So a much tighter officiated game here as Daniels hits both free throws.
Yeah, I remember that. And I appreciate the officials rewarding good defense and good defensive positioning. And if they're out of position, let them know about it.
Koenigs has it in the right wing. Koenigs bottled up, double teamed into Newton, and Newton just scooches one in. And the Raiders extend the lead to 4, 17-13. Now Hill Murray, DeCario Brown crosses the timeline back to Petrozewski. And double teamed is Hill. This one's deflected and kicked back out to Daniels. Daniels will drive it off the window, doesn't get it to go. Newton gets the rebound. He's surrounded by Pioneers. And he's fouled, so
it's going to be foul number 2 on Daniels. And so that's going to be a big story here. We've got 9 minutes left, and Daniels already in a little bit of foul trouble.
Yes, indeed, and the next one will put Hastings in the 1-1. So fouls are coming early and coming often here. As back into the left now, free throw line, it's Newton. Burnett's top of the key. Burnett's back to Maher. Maher back to Burnett's, takes a deep three and unable to connect. Maher gets the rebound though. From the elbow, gets it to go. And the Raiders extend the lead to 6, 19-13 at 9:20.
Now let's see if Hastings can start to get a little bit of separation here.
Hill Murray gets one in from just inside the free throw line. Sam Leonard cuts it to 4. Now Burnett's into the front court, back to Maher in left. Maher now to the right to Burnett's. Thought about the 3, but the lane closed. Now he drives in. A wild shot does not fall. Lee Dean gets the rebound, kicks it out to Maher for 3 left wing. No. Newton fighting for the rebound. The ball will go out of bounds, and it will be Hill Murray basketball with 8:52 left in the first half.
Yeah, Newton had great position for that offensive rebound, but sometimes if they come off hard like that, it's just so hard to grab that ball.
So 8:52 left in this opening frame. Raiders in front by 4. Looking for their 4th conference win of the season. Pioneers have it on the right wing. It's Petrozewski, deflected by a Raider, but Leonard gets to it. And now Petrozewski is double teamed. Kick back out to Brown in the right wing. Under the basket. Fight for the basketball, turned away, and the Raiders will get it back at 8:32.
And I really like to see the Raiders are extending their ball pressure, putting pressure on their guards, and that's speeding up their passes. I like to see that.
Here's Burnett's with it. Burnett's back into the right to Esterby. Top of the key, gets it in. Now back out to the right wing, shot on the way. Good 3 by Esterby, and the lead's up to 7, 22-15.
In each game I've seen, when Hastings goes inside out on their 3-point shots instead of just around the perimeter, much more success.
Back to Daniels in the left wing for Hill Murray. Esterby on him. Baseball pass out of bounds, looking for number 22, Colton Ricker. And it will be Hastings back with the ball and the lead as the 3 by Esterby, just nothing but net.
And as you saw that, inside out, the ball went inside to Kellen. He was able to kick it right out to Esterby, set for the shot, and nailed the 3. When Hastings does that, they have a lot of success.
Schultz back to Maher in the left wing, looking for Newton, and it's turned over to a Pioneer. Here's Daniels with the basketball, bounce pass to Brown. Brown off the window, good for Hill Murray, cuts it to 5, 22-17 with 7:40 remaining.
Yeah, and that was a good transition push ahead right there by Hill Murray.
Schultz crossing the timeline into the front court, back to Maher. Maher to Schultz, back to Maher in the left wing. Now Maher looking for Schultz, and a miscommunication, and the ball ends up in the Hill Murray bench. And with 7:28 left in the first half, it will stay with the Pioneers. So Decario Brown has the basketball, gets it into the front court for Hill Murray, out to McGurran. McGurran drives into Leonard. Leonard off the window, good. And it's a three-point game, 22-19. And Coach Fikema takes a timeout. And for our radio listeners, we'll take one too. It's Hastings 22, Hill Murray 19. .7:16 remaining first half here. Hastings on top of Hill Murray, 22-19, and expected this to be a little bit of a close game, and it has been. And by the way, in that shot was Danny Milner, who just announced this week he's committed to Luther College. So congratulations to Danny and the Milner family.
Well, that's a good school, Danny. That's the school that I went to.
Really?
So it was.
All right.
He'll be a Norse.
Yes, he will. There he is. As the Hastings Raiders quarterback from this year made it official on social media earlier this week. Esterby has it in the right wing, back to Schultz. Esterby in the right wing again. Now into the left wing and top of the key to Schultz. Foss has it, and Hastings just kind of playing pass the ball around right now into Lee Dean under the basket, who lays it in, and the Raiders extend the lead to 5. That was beautiful ball movement.
Another nice pass down by Weston down to Peyton. Attacking the zone from behind is what they did on that play, and that was great.
Turnover by Hill Murray. What a response out of the timeout by Hastings. Foss to Schultz, looking for Esterby and the right corner. He bounces it into Newton off the window, fouled and one. And Kellen Newton going back to the free throw line.
Oh, if they show that again, that was excellent by Kellen Newton. If you see, Kellen's not quite open there, and he just keeps working and making a big window for Esterby to give him the dish.
I really like what we've seen from Kellen Newton tonight, as Peyton Lee Dean is relieved on the floor by Owen Burnatz. And so Newton at the line for the three-point play opportunity to try to give Hastings an 8-point advantage, which would be their largest.
And there's nothing a guard likes more than a big man who's willing to do the work down there low, and that's what Kellen's willing to do.
He hits the free throw, so it is an 8-point game, 27-19. Here's McGurran with it for Hill Murray, back to Daniels. Daniels back to McGurran, top of the key, drives in, fouled as he turns over the basketball, and with 6:24 left, Hill Murray will go to the free throw line. I believe we're in the 1-and-1 now.
And this is another risk of the 3-2 zone. As you've seen on the last 3 or 4 possessions, Hill Murray is finding some seams to drive to, and that's either opening up some fouls, opening up some easy dish-off passes. Something hopefully Hastings can clean up.
Yeah, 6:24 remaining, and actually not quite the 1-and-1. Hastings only at 6 fouls. So Daniels has it in the left wing. 3 on the way by Petrozewski. Will rim out, no good, and then Burnatz fights for the rebound, gets to it. Burnatz back to the right to Schultz. Schultz into Newton. Newton off the window. Almost goes in and rims out. And then it's fought for on the floor. And I think we're going to get a foul, as that was McGurran who tried to bring the ball up. And
but I don't think it was a foul.
They got a timeout for an injury, I believe.
Yep, timeout for a little blood. They got to make sure they get the player off the court that has a little bit of blood on their face, and so that is.
I can't recall a time where there's been.
That's Colton Ricker kind of leaving the court.
I remember the game against South St. Paul. They had 3 stoppages for blood on the floor. I cannot recall a time where I've seen that many.
I don't either.
Hill Murray turns it over to Hastings the other way. Schultz. Back to Burnatz, wide open left wing for 3, can't connect. Foss gets the rebound. Foss back to Schultz. Schultz to Burnatz, thought about it for 3 again. Drives inside between 2 Pioneers, can't get the runner to go. Gets his own rebound, and then he's fouled. And he'll go to the free throw line. What an effort from Owen Burnatz.
Owen, you deserved that. Great drive, great fight. There were 3 Pioneers down there, and Owen said, I'm getting that ball.
5:39 remaining, and Owen Burnatz is at the line for Hastings with a chance to extend this to 9, possibly 10. It'll be no more than 9 as he misses the first free throw.
And this has been an Achilles heel for Hastings. Great free throw shooters, great shooters, but seemingly not able to hit both ends of the free throw shots.
Misses both free throws, gets his own rebound, then puts it right back up and in.
But we'll
what a
take
better
that.
way to respond to your missed free throws by getting your own rebound and scoring. As Daniels turns it over, Schultz has it. Now Foss to Burnatz. Burnatz will drive in, can't get the runner, gets his own rebound, puts it up and in again.
And I want to be proud, Dad, on that sequence. That turnover, you got 15 there, which is my son Max. When you can speed up a guy, even if you don't make the steal, you can cause him to make bad decisions, and that led right to that pass turnover that got Owen Burnatz that shot.
Another turnover inside, almost. Petrozewski ends up getting it back for Hill Murray, and then the rebound is loose. Fought for Daniels is then fouled on a shot attempt. And so Xavier Daniels goes to the free throw line, but Owen Burnatz has been the story of late here for the Raiders. 4 straight points, and both of them coming in pretty impressive fashion.
And if you look at what he's done, any young players out there, stick with itness. You miss a shot, who cares? Go grab the ball and hit it again.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to be 100% from the floor. Everybody knows that, but it's how you respond to it, as Daniels not able to connect on the first free throw.
Yeah, basketball's a funny game.
Actually, he did make the first free throw.
You're going to miss a lot of shots. You're going to have a lot of poor plays, but you're going to make some good plays, and that's what you got to keep going after.
So 31-20, Burnatz has it. Newton from the free throw line, just a bit too strong on it, and now the rebound comes down to McGurran. McGurran crosses the timeline. McGurran back into the left wing to Daniels.
Good hounding defense by both Weston and Albertson.
Daniels looking to Petrozewski, goes out to the baseline, and now Daniels in the right corner for 3. Not able to connect, rebounded by Petrozewski. He's unable to connect. It's volleyballed up, and Burnatz gets to it in transition. Burnatz breaks the double team, drives in, can't get it to go, but Newton gets the rebound, and then Newton is fouled, and Kellen Newton heading to the free throw line.
Great team basketball, great team rebounding on the defensive end, and then great push ahead by Owen. And did you notice? Kellen wasn't waiting back there. He sprinted down, and he got that rebound.
Love the hustle and the effort from the Raiders, and we see it every game. But tonight it has been very evident, as Newton can't hit the first free throw, and so it's 31-20 still with 4:16 left in this first half. On the floor for the Raiders is Foss, Albertson, Newton, Maher, and Burnatz. Second free throw for Newton is no good. Rebounded by Foss. Kick back out to Newton for 3, and that one's going to fall just a bit short. Rebounded by Leonard. And with 4 minutes remaining in the first half, or just approaching, Hastings with an 11-point lead. They've led by as many as 12. Here's Daniels with it. Back to Brown in the right. Brown looking for Petrozewski out near the logo. Now it's going to be McGurran. McGurran blocked, and Burnatz has the basketball. Bringing it across the timeline, Burnatz to Foss. Left corner for 3, off the mark. Rebounded to Albertson. Albertson back to Newton. Newton had it deflected, gets it back. Newton dumps it out to Burnatz. Burnatz into Maher all by himself under the basket and lays it in to make it a 13-point game.
Again, it's so hard in the zone when somebody's attacking from behind or sitting from behind. You just can't see them. And Kelvin saw that and made a great pass.
Block shot there. McGurran was blocked, and now Burnatz drives and he gets one to go. And it's 35-20, and Hill Murray's seen enough. Timeout Pioneers, as Hastings has opened up a 15-point cushion on the Pioneers, 35-20 with 3:11 to go in the first half. 3:11 remaining in the first half. Hastings in front of Hill Murray, 35-20. We got some youth basketball coming up at the half. I think you know a little bit about that.
I do know a little bit about that. I'm also one of the directors for the traveling program here at Hastings. And so at half, we got an 8th grade team that just had a heck of a tournament at Apple Valley. Went 2-1 and had some fun. So it'll be fun to watch.
So Hill Murray brings the ball up the floor. Daniels crosses the timeline again. The Pioneers going from right to left. Here's Brown into or it was McGurran actually, and Burnatz rips it away to Foss. Foss will drive in, runner on the way, bounces out, and then Hill Murray gets to the rebound with McGurran. McGurran looking for Daniels, a little bit too much on that, and it goes out of bounds. And Hill Murray's having issues keeping the ball.
Yeah, and it's a little sneaky thing, but I don't know who it was that just kind of put a little pressure on that ball handler. Instead of letting him go, he threw the ball out of bounds because he got sped up.
So 2:49 left first half. Foss checks out. Here's Burnatz into the front court for Hastings. Burnatz into Newton. Newton top of the key for three. Got it. Owen Burnatz with a big time three. It's 38-20 with 2.5 to go in the first half. As Hill Murray crosses the timeline, here's McGurran back to Daniels. Daniels drives in off the window, no. And Newton on the rebound. Raiders can double up Hill Murray here. Burnatz to Esterby, right corner. Esterby makes a defender miss, moves inside the arc, takes it from the elbow, misses, gets his own rebound, and then the Raiders turn it over the other way. Here's Daniels, coast to coast, can't connect on the lay-in. Burnatz on the rebound. Burnatz with the basketball. Burnatz, runner on the way, is short, gets his own rebound, short again. Fought for, and a foul is called as Petrozewski went for the rebound.
And these boys were ready for that foul because it's a frenetic pace out there right now.
Hastings is in the double bonus with the next one. 9 on Hill Murray, 8 on Hastings. 38-20 Raiders in front with 1:57 left in the first half, and Petrozewski is heading to the free throw line for the Hill Murray Pioneers.
And while Petrozewski shoots these free throws, you'll want to stay tuned and just keep paying attention to this game, because what Hastings needs to do, and if they can do this, if they can put together a second half like their first halves in a full game, they can hang with anybody.
Right, we mentioned that there's always seems to be just one moment that it gets away. If they can continue this and keep it this as is, they can pretty much play with anybody, I feel like.
Yeah, and even, so I was at the past Matamidi game. Their first half was a really fun, good first half. And even with Matamidi, they were hanging and giving them a scare.
Here's Burnatz, gets it into Maher, tries to get it into Maher, but a Pioneer got there first. Now McGurran off the window, good. And Hill Murray ends a scoring drought for them. It's 38-22 with 1:40 left to go here in the first half. And Burnatz crosses the timeline with it, back out to Maher in the left wing. Maher to Esterby. Esterby top of the key. Big three from deep on the way, no good. Newton gets the rebound, he's fouled and he banks it in. And Kellen Newton just cannot miss from that spot tonight.
And I want to tell you, that is a really important possession. It seems like 16 points, how can it be such an important possession? But that's how Hastings starts to kind of let the waterfall flow. They'll take some quick shots, maybe some ill-advised shots, and the other team will get on a roll.
Newton misses the free throw, but Maher gets after the rebound. Maher back to Burnatz. Burnatz goes between the legs and then gets it inside to Newton off the window, good, and it's a 20-point lead, 42-22 with 70 seconds to go in the first half.
Great job, Raiders, and really important to continue to value every possession, both offensively and defensively.
This ball was tipped, but Hill Murray gets it back in the right elbow. Kick back out to Daniels in the right wing as we're under a minute to go here in this opening half. Raiders in complete control. Here's Daniels back to the left. And then Esterby got a hand on it. And a turnover is on Hill Murray. Did he step on the baseline there?
He did, just ramping up that defensive pressure. And it's really caused Hill Murray a ton of problems.
42-22 with 45 seconds to go. Burnatz into the front court to Esterby. Esterby to Burnatz, to Maher, back to Burnatz, into Newton, and Newton dominating tonight, misses, gets his own rebound, and then gets the finish. It's the Kellen Newton show right now.
I am so happy for Kellen. He works so hard, and he deserves a dominating performance like tonight.
Daniels in the left wing. Daniels spins in, and off the window, good for Hill Murray on a pass to number 22, Colton Ricker, who's back out there after getting hit in the face earlier. 20-point lead, 44-24. 10 seconds to go. Burnatz holding for the last shot. Burnatz takes a three on the way, short. and fight for the rebound. Hill Murray will get to it, but they won't have enough time to get a shot off. And after 1/2 of play, the Hastings Raiders have a 44-24 lead over the Hill Murray Pioneers. Halftime coverage coming up on the radio. We'll see you on TV in the second half. On HCTV, we're also going to mention this as we're back on HCTV as well. Before we get to the second half, we wanted to address some news that took place recently here in the area. From all of us here at KDWA Radio and Hastings Community Television, we want to take a moment to celebrate the life of former Hastings Raider Josh Schumacher, who passed away this Sunday after a 2.5-year-long battle with cancer. Josh was a graduate from Hastings High School as a member of the class of 2016 and played baseball all 4 years of his high school career alongside a little bit of football. He was a likable guy who naturally attracted people and knew how to make everyone feel welcome and included. He was a fantastic teammate and person who had a strong passion for the game of baseball. The celebration of life is scheduled for 4 p.m. this Friday at Starks and Family Life Celebration Chapel. Our condolences go out to Josh's family, friends, and all of Raider Nation. Start of the second half underway. Evan Koenig starts it off with a 3, and the Raiders are up by 23, 47-24, less than 20 seconds in.
And I know Fike couldn't Fike and Olsen couldn't ask for a better start for Evan right there. 2 shots, 2 threes, 2 buckets.
Burnatz gets a hand on it, drives into the lane, and will lay it in 49-24. So the Raiders come out hot right away with 5 quick points.
And really important again, value every defensive and offensive possession this entire half.
And a pass by Hill Murray there goes out of bounds. So we'll go right back to the Raiders, 49-24. How did Refn go there at halftime?
Well, it was a bit different game than this one. Lots of half-court shots and gimme dunks, so it was an easy game to ref.
Here's Newton, drives in, scores for the Raiders, and it's 51-24 as Hastings has opened up the second half on a 7-0 run.
Well, I guess we wondered, is Hastings going to come out and let the second half blues hit them again? And the answer to that is nope.
Here's Maher with the basketball. Maher bringing it across the timeline for Hastings. Back to Burnatz in the left. Now Burnatz drives in. Runner on the way, no good. Fight for the rebound. It's going to be Hill Murray McGurran who has it. McGurran looking into the left corner. That's where Ricker had it momentarily. He's double teamed. Looking for number 34, Petrozewski. And then kicks it back out to Kelly. Kelly at the top of the key, back into the right wing to McGurran. McGurran to Daniels. Daniels trying to back down Maher, kicks it back out to McGurran. McGurran to Ricker in the right, and now Daniels drives in, he's fouled. And Xavier Daniels will head to the free throw line for Hill Murray.
A good strong move by Xavier Daniels. You can tell why he's their leading scorer. He is powerful, he is quick.
Yes, and he's got some pretty bright shoes too. One hot pink and one neon. So good shoe game from Xavier Daniels tonight.
So is that how you kind of assess your players? Is by
No,
their shoe game?
not at all. But I just noticed those and that those were very cool looking, but he can't connect on the first free throw, 51-24, and he hits the second, so 51-25 with 16:10 left here in the first half. Burnatz back to Maher, now top of the key. Burnatz to Newton. Newton back to Burnatz, inside to Newton at the free throw line. Kicks it back out to Maher, right wing. Burnatz looking for Maher, and one man-to-man defense there, and this one gets away from the Raiders. It's turned over the other way. Petrozewski has the basketball. Petrozewski, Kelly, Daniels, McGurran, and then this one bounces off the foot of Albertson and goes out of bounds. It will be Hill Murray basketball.
Yep, good team defense and good helper defense there. Almost came up with a steal for Albertson, but that's what you want to see.
And Hill Murray gets it in off the inbound and puts it in. And it's 51-27 with 15:37 left. Burnatz trying to go coast to coast, got it blocked. Now McGurran in transition, and Maher tries to go for the block, but gets called for a foul instead. And so with 15:30 to go here in the ball game, McGurran heads to the line for Hill.
And so this is where you want to eliminate those habits that have kind of led to the bad second halves for the Raiders. Great second half so far, but those quick shots, those quick drives, those kind of give-up possessions, we want to make sure we get rid of those.
McGurran hits the first free throw, 51-28 with 15.5 to go. Burnatz takes a seat. Weston Schultz back into the game for Hastings.
And Burnatz had a really good game. Really working hard, so he deserves a seat right now.
McGurran missed the free throw. Hastings then turns it right back to Hill Murray. Pioneers, jumper on the way, bounces in and out. Rebounded by Koenigs. Koenigs out to Weston Schultz. Schultz looking for Maher. Maher back to Schultz, just inside the logo from right to left on your radio dial. As Newton from inside the free throw line fouled and won.
Absolutely, and Kellen, it's Kellen's game today. Really good, Kellen.
Yeah, he has been a machine tonight. And just about 3 minutes gone here in the second half. We're going to get to see some new Raiders come into the game. Parker McGinnis is checking in for Hastings and will replace Max Albertson on the floor. And so Newton will hit the free throw, make it 54-28 with 15:06 left to go. Daniels with the basketball for Hill Murray, back to Petrozewski, and then almost a turnover. Daniels gets it back, drives in, and lays it in.
Yeah, that was a fortunate bounce for Hill Murray. That was a turnover going the other way. Just Hastings forgot to grab the ball.
Maher, Schultz, Newton, back out to McGinnis, right corner for three, off the mark. but Newton fights for the rebound. Maher gets to it first. Now Maher back to McGinnis. McGinnis looking for Schultz. Schultz, Maher, 3 on the way. Bounces up, bounces out, rebounded by Koenigs. And they have a whistle.
Yep, I do believe that hit the wire up top.
Gotcha.
Great rebound by Evan, but can't take it off the wire.
Gonna be out of bounds, and so Decario Brown will check into the basketball game for Hill-Murray. 54-30 with 14:32 remaining. We are 6 points away from a running clock situation, so that's something that Hastings could have go their way in about 2 3-pointers or so. As this is a missed 3 by Hill-Murray, they do get it back. Brown, and then McGinnis gets to it, and McGinnis is fouled with 14:14 left.
Yeah, and so Hastings keep valuing the possessions, keep working on good habits. This is a game that you can build a lot on, and like we said, get that confidence going into sections that you need.
Yeah, and also, you know, a chance to move up in the conference standings with Simley coming up later on in the week on Friday night. That's going to be an important one for Hastings' purposes in terms of moving up in the conference standings.
Absolutely.
As Daniels will turn this one over, but I don't know if maybe he got fouled on the way in. We'll see.
See if it's a foul or just a tip behind. I think it may have just been a tip behind. A good hustle. Good hustle play.
So Petrozewski throws this one into Brown, who thought about the 3, gets it into Daniels. Daniels spins in and banks it in.
That was a real pretty move by Daniels. Nice spin, got Kellen on his back.
McGinnis in the left, back out to Schultz. Schultz double team, now loses the handle, gets it back. Schultz to Newton. Newton then has it taken away by the Pioneers. Daniels in transition, Foss got a hand on it, but then Daniels gets it right back in the left. Daniels, one hands it over to McGurran. McGurran to Leonard. Leonard back to Brown on the right. Brown throws it right to a Raider. It's Schultz with the ball. Schultz to McGinnis. McGinnis off the window. Good. Parker McGinnis with a bucket. It's 56-32 Hastings with 13:20.
Great angle on the push ahead by Schultz.
Top of the key for Hill-Murray. Now Daniels looking for it from 3 to Brown. Brown into Leonard, and Leonard is fouled, and with 13:08 left, another look at the Parker McGinnis bucket. And these are guys, you know, in a game like this where big lead, McGinnis coming off the bench, a guy that, to be frank, doesn't see a lot of varsity minutes, getting an opportunity to come in and play as Koenigs is replaced on the floor by Peyton Lee Dean.
Yeah, but I know for sure Hastings wants to see guys like Parker get more and more confidence at the varsity level and see more and more varsity minutes. So this is where you get it, this time of the game.
Rims in good for Hill-Murray, 56-34. Schultz crosses the timeline back to Foss. Again, no Lucas Foss tonight, as McGinnis gets it into Newton. Top of the key to Schultz, back to Matthew Foss. And Schultz back to Matthew Foss and bounces it into Newton. Newton, and then a collision as Kellen Newton drove inside. And good sportsmanship to help each other up there.
I like the way that Hastings is making you work by moving that ball around quickly, making you call a bunch of names.
Yeah, making me work. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's what I like to see. Get that ball popping.
So Kellen Newton heads to the free throw line again for Hastings. He's been there quite a bit tonight. Off the front end of the rim on the first. 56-34 with 12:40 to go. Hastings in complete control of this one. It was a tight one for the vast majority of the first half, and then as the first half wound down, Hastings kind of opened it up a little bit and has been that way ever since. Currently a 23-point game as McGurran has it back to Brown in the left, and then Brown looked like it maybe was knocked out of bounds by a Raider.
And the game, and it always seems to do this for Hastings. It turned with defensive pressure. Like it just kind of turned when they started speeding up Hill-Murray, and Hill-Murray just didn't quite know what to do about that.
Back into the right wing. And now top of the key, Brown. Brown throws it over to Daniels in the left corner for 3 on the way. Rims out, no good. Hill-Murray goes for the save, and Petrozewski gets to it with a great offensive play by the Pioneers. Now Brown from the 3-point line, back out to the left wing to Leonard, and Brown will take a 3. He won't connect, and it's rebounded by Kellen Newton. 12 minutes left now as Newton gets it out to Schultz. Schultz to McGinnis. McGinnis into Newton and then back out to Ledeen. Ledeen in the right to Schultz. Weston Schultz to Peyton Ledeen. Right corner for three. Bit too strong on that, and Daniels gets the rebound. Daniels bounces it in off the window, and it's rimmed in good by McGurran. Down to 21, but still a big lead for the Raiders. 57-36 with 11:35 remaining.
And sometimes that'll happen with a 3-2 zone where you'll get lots of guys down below the free throw line, and that will allow a run out like what just happened there.
Here's Newton. Ledeen finds a lane and then banks it in off the glass from the left side. 59-36.
That's a shot to get in your game, kids. That little runner right there, it's effective.
Here's McGurran, guarded by McGinnis and Schultz, and then the Pioneers turn it over. Bernatz, Esterby, Koenigs, and Maher all checking into the basketball game as a look again at the McGurran bucket for Hill Murray, splitting the double team for Hastings. So the only Raider that stays out on the floor is Foss. Everybody else is back in, and for Maher and Koenigs and Albertson, the three seniors, so far it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good senior night as Hastings turns this one over. Brown to the left of the basket on the baseline, and then out of bounds it goes with 10:52 remaining.
I think they may be calling a foul here. I think we maybe assisted the Hill Murray player on getting out of bounds.
I would say that would be a accurate assumption.
And so I believe the foul was on Bernatz, his second.
Yep, so Petrozewski will trigger it in here. And wide open for three is McGurran, and he hits it. So it's down to 20 now, 59-39. Raiders still with a big lead, but a lot of time left in this game. Bernatz with the basketball, back to Esterby. Bernatz top of the key, Esterby right wing for three. Can't connect from distance. Daniels on the rebound. There's Daniels crossing the timeline. Daniels looking into the left to McGurran. McGurran trying to spin it in. Ball is free, hits the deck, and Bernatz comes away with it as multiple players still down on the floor. Esterby then banks it in, and we've got a timeout. Is this a timeout by one of the teams? It's a Hastings timeout for 30 seconds, and we'll see you in 30 seconds. Hastings in front, 61-39 with 10:17 left. And for those of you watching on HCTV, there we are. There's me and Ross and Hunter Pinky and our camera crew.
And that lovely lady sitting right in front of us was Max's mom, Amy.
Okay.
Camera time for her, too.
All right. It's a big night for the Albertson family as a whole, but most importantly for Max out there on the floor. I know he's your son, and he's gotten a chance to play on senior night here. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's just fun to watch and fun to see. You know, your kids, Max, Kelvin, Evan. They work hard. They come home. They have nights of frustration and nights of just elation, and it's just fun to see them get out there and have a fun night like tonight.
Hill Murray trying to move the basketball around. They're into the lane and kick back out into the left wing. Now into the left corner. McGurran for three on the way. Unable to connect. Daniels on the rebound. He can't get it to go. Then Ricker's shot will rim out. Hill Murray keeps possession though, and the Pioneers, McGurran races in, unable to get it to go again. And then finally the Raiders will break it out. Now Bernatz drives in and lays it in to extend the lead for the Raiders, 63-39.
And that was a fortunate possession for the Raiders down there. 5 offensive rebounds, but no points.
Daniels in the left, three on the way for Hill Murray off the mark, rebounded by Petrozewski, and he will lay it in for the Pioneers, 63-41 with 9:25. Here's Bernatz, back to Maher, out to Foss. Foss to Bernatz, top of the key. Back to Foss, left wing for three. In and out, no good. Rebounded by Koenigs and put back up and in. Happy senior night for Evan Koenigs. He's got 8 points.
Evan is having a lot of fun. Really good to see that for him.
Three on the way by Hill Murray is no good. Esterby on the rebound. Esterby crosses the timeline, kicks it out to Foss in the right corner. Foss into Koenigs and back out to Foss. Here's Esterby for three, no. Rebounded by Hill Murray, into McGurran, and blocked by Burnatz. What a block from behind by Owen Burnatz.
And I do think they're going to get Owen on the foul.
They do, they get a foul, and so that will send McGurran to the line. So that negates that a little bit, but still a pretty ferocious block by Burnatz.
And just, again, the stick-to-itiveness, just saying, you're not going to get this easy layup. You're going to have to earn it at the free throw line, and really, they could have called this either way. I think it's fine calling a foul there, but Owen could have gotten away with a clean block too.
McGurran missed the first free throw, 65-41 with 8:44 remaining. Second one coming for Hill Murray. And he can't connect on the second one either.
And I've been there, and that young man McGurran, he's a great player. Just missed a couple free throws. I know he's disappointed, but he's working hard, playing hard. He shouldn't be too hard on himself.
8:44 left. Maher gets it into Owen Burnatz. And Burnatz back to Foss. Into the right, almost taken away or turned over. Now Koenig's floater is off the mark and rebounded by Hill Murray. Raiders in front, 65-41 as the clock runs under 8.5 to go. Here's Brown. Brown guarded by Albertson and then sends it into Ricker, and then Ricker has it knocked away by a Raider, and with 8:15 remaining, it will stay with the Pioneers.
And it's really fun for me to see all these seniors just doing what they're great at. Kelvin, all around great leadership, just all around solid athlete. I'll tell you about the other two in a moment.
Three on the way for Hill Murray is good. That's number 5, Jake Kohler, who has hit his first shot of the night. Burnatz back to Maher, 65-44. Koenigs back to Foss, left corner for three. In and out, no good. Koenigs gets the rebound.
And so at Koenigs, that's what he's good at. Grab those rebounds, get that second shot.
Burnatz to Maher into Koenigs. Koenigs off the window, good. It's a double-figure night for Evan Koenigs on senior night, 10 points.
It's a lot of fun to see. And then right here, number 15, my son, his gift is just his ability to pressure on D, and he's shown that a lot tonight as well.
And Kohler heating up for Hill Murray. He hits a triple from the right corner, 67-47. Burnatz into Koenigs. Koenigs floater on the way, curls in again. And Evan Koenigs taking over, 69-47.
He's on fire.
We got the fire marshal here tonight. Maybe he can help out.
Now let's let Evan keep on flaming.
Yeah, exactly. Let's let that happen as Petrozewski back into the left, guarded by Albertson. Oh, what a takeaway out of the air by Matthew Foss into Burnatz, and Burnatz lays it in. And it's 71-47 for Hastings. Here's Daniels. Back in and out to Brown. Brown fouled on the way in. He'll go to the line.
And so we're not in any, I don't feel like we're in any danger of this game slipping away, but that is number 4 on Owen Burnatz. So he may be taking a seat, or they may let him play through it.
Yeah, when a game's this kind of margin this late, I don't know if there's that much of a risk. If it gets down to a little bit of a closer margin, then maybe. No, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
at this point, fight gets taken out, which is a great call. Let Owen have a seat for the rest of the night. He's in there.
So Burnatz replaced by Schultz as the first free throw goes in, and a nice ovation for Burnatz there as he heads to the bench. 6:46 remaining. Second free throw coming for Dacario Brown, and he will connect. And so 71-49 with 6:46 left in this one. Schultz back to Maher. Maher for three, not able to get to it, and out of bounds it will go. And it will be Hill Murray basketball with just about 6.5 to go on this snowy Tuesday night. As Kohler back to Daniels. Daniels trying to spin in from the right wing. Can't get it to go off the window. Fight for the rebound, Maher and Daniels. They will stay with the Pioneers. 71-49 with 6:23 to go.
And that's what you want to see. Keep fighting hard, Daniels. Keep fighting hard, Maher. Every possession, play it like it's 0-0.
Hastings goes for a save on a inbound there, and Nothing there, so we'll go right back to the Pioneers with 6:21 left. Going back into Brown. Brown back out. Left corner with it for the Pioneers. That's number 22, Ricker. Now Brown with the basketball into Daniels. Daniels to McGurran. McGurran looking for Daniels, deflected out of the air, taken away by Kelvin Maher. Maher back to Schultz. Schultz. Inside to Koenigs. Koenigs off the window, banks it in. Evan Koenigs take a bow.
And the team, you know, you can see the bench. They are just so excited for Evan. They're so excited for all these seniors.
Here's one on the way, good for Hill Murray, 73-51, 14 for Koenigs. You know him pretty well. Is that his career high?
You know, it's his career high, I believe, in a varsity game. But he's, in some of the other games, he's had a few more point productions.
Almost had 16 there, but not able to connect, and Hill Murray scores on the other end to cut this to a 20-point game, 73-53 with 5:16 left.
And again, keep moving it. Keep making Trey do the work by calling a bunch of names.
Here's Foss into Albertson, and that one, I'll let you analyze that one.
Well, they're not going to call a foul on a 20-point game. So they could have, but you can't expect that.
I just made up a word, too.
You did. Good word.
3 on the way for Kohler is good, 73-56. Hill Murray's cut this to 18, and now Hastings a little bit more uncomfortable, but still a pretty big lead with 4:40 to go. Back to Schultz. Schultz to Maher. And now the Raiders just diagnosing the defense. And as a result, Albertson gets there, gets fouled, and is going to the line. So 4:31 left. It'll be Max Albertson heading to the stripe. And here's a look at him.
Yeah, it looks like he looks like he's got a little injury on him, so hopefully. Oh, that was Koenig's last shot.
Okay. So Max Albertson unable to connect on the first free throw. 6 fouls on Hastings, 4 on Hill Murray, 4:31 remaining. He hits the second free throw, and look at the reaction from the bench.
That's good to see, and hopefully he can walk that ankle off and get back in. Max had a really good run there coming up until an ankle injury, and then kind of tweaked his ankle, so hopefully he's going to be all right.
Yeah, and he heads back to the bench with a free throw that made it 74-56. Hill Murray turns it over on the other end, and the Raiders will get it right back as there's another look at the Albertson ankle.
And he's not wearing his, he has some really bright kicks too that you'd appreciate.
Okay.
He's not wearing them tonight for some reason.
4:23 left here. Hastings in front by 18. Thanks for being with us on your community partners, KDWA and HCTV. Back out to Kelvin Maher in the left. Into Koenigs. Bounces it out to Lee Dean. A triple on the way. In and out, no good. Gets his own rebound.
Attaboy, Peyton.
And then back to Maher. Here's Schultz to Esterby. Into Koenigs, double teamed. Koenigs to Lee Dean. A 3 on the way. That's blocked. Koenigs gets the rebound. And back out to Schultz. Schultz into Koenigs. Koenigs to Lee Dean. And now Schultz will slow it down for the Raiders. Gets it over to Maher in the left wing. Back to Esterby. Esterby thought about the 3. He takes a slide. His back is on the basketball. And Hill Murray comes away with it. Here's Kohler. Drives in. And Koenigs got a hand on it, but a foul was called first.
Yeah, his foul's going to be on one of the seniors. We'll see who they're going to give it to. Kelvin or Evan?
Looks like they gave it to Maher.
Gave it to Kelvin.
So his second. And Kohler, Jake Kohler, is at the line. He is a junior wing for Hill Murray, and he can't connect on the first free throw. Almost left his teammate hanging there. And second free throw for Kohler is good. I don't think he meant to, just didn't see him.
No, yeah, that happens.
74-57.
You're deep in thought saying, how am I going to make this next free throw?
Yep. So Schultz crosses the timeline for Hastings, gets it into Koenigs. Koenigs into Schultz, all alone under the basket, and he lays it in for an easy bucket.
And an easy assist for Evan. Career night for Evan here.
76-57. McGinnis heads to the scorer's table for Hastings. Kohler takes a three, unable to connect. Here's Maher on the rebound for the Raiders. Maher looked like he was trying to get it to Koenigs, but kicks it back out to Esterby for three. He's unable to get it. Maher on the rebound, and he will score. So the seniors all coming up big here in the second half. As Hill Murray crosses the timeline, Brown with the basketball. Retreating to Daniels just inside the arc. Now Daniels. Round the horn it comes, three on the way by Daniels, too strong, rebound by Schultz. Another Raider at the scorer's table, looks like number 21, Jacob Reuter, will be coming into the game. Koenigs
give
for
it to
three,
him.
off the mark, rebound, Esterby good.
I think Jacob may be coming in for Evan. I think you're going to hear a big ovation for Evan when he comes off the court.
Here's Brown. Brown into the left for Hill Murray, 80-57, taken away by Hastings. In transition, Hill Murray gets it right back, and then the Pioneers give it right back. 2:06 left, 80-57. Over under on how long it takes us to get the snow off of our cars tonight, as there is Evan Koenigs coming out of the game. You mentioned it, nice ovation. 14 points for Evan Koenigs, including 2 threes, and a great senior night for Evan Koenigs.
It was. It just all around great night. So happy for Evan.
McGinnis to Reuter. Back to McGinnis, and now Maher in the left wing. And what an opportunity for some of these guys. Usually when these guys come in, unfortunately, it's because the Raiders are down as McGinnis hits a shot. Uh-oh. And Parker McGinnis landed awkwardly. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Back here at Hastings, 82-57, Raiders in front with 1:40 to go. Daniels drives in and scores. As they take a look at McGinnis on the bench, we certainly hope he's okay.
Yeah, we hope they just kind of pulled him out and gave him all that support out of an abundance of precaution.
And how about this? Jacob Reuter drives inside and gets a bucket, 84-59 with 1:23.
Attaway, Jacob.
Daniels can't connect. Schultz trying to bring it up the floor for Hastings, and he's going to get fouled. And I think that's going to be the 5th on Hill Murray. And now Kelvin Maher checks out of the basketball game for the final time probably on this floor, as it's unlikely Hastings will have a home section game.
Yep, that's exactly right. Kind of something strange to think about when you say it like that.
Yeah, I wish they would. But they got 2 more road games, Simley and St. Thomas Academy, and then they'll play sections, and we'll see where they shake out there. But
yeah,
as Ian gets the ball and then gives us a little bit of a salute there. But what are your thoughts on the section and where you think Hastings will shake out there?
You know, I think it's a good chance Hastings is probably going to be playing at Eastview, and Eastview is going to be a good team, a really tough challenge, but they're 17-year-old boys.
Yep, and that's what's, yeah, exactly.
And anybody that can put together 2 halves and pressure a team, you never know what'll happen.
So we approach 1 minute left in this game, and Hastings on their way to a win. It'll be their 6th win of the year, their 4th conference win, as Hill Murray gets an and one, and that's huge for these guys, right? They've played some of the top teams in the conference as of late. Tartan, South St. Paul, Matamidi, coming here tonight against the Hill Murray team that is behind them in the conference standings. and to take care of business is huge.
Yeah, it is really huge. And you mentioned we got a chance to jump up ahead of Simley, but Two Rivers is not out of the question either.
No, they're not.
So they could jump up 2 spots.
Hastings can definitely move up in the conference standings as Jack Cloutier has checked into the basketball game along with Carter Lundstrom and Jackson Dimmick. They're all on the floor for the Raiders for the final minute.
And I got the chance to coach all these kids this summer, and they're just a fun group, and I'm so glad to see Jackson and Jack and all those guys get a chance to play right now.
Lundstrom for 3, can't get to it. Cloutier chases after it, goes out of bounds with 44.9. So, again, you're around this team a lot. You know this team a lot. Young team. Unfortunately, your son is one of the 3 seniors, but there's a lot to look forward to for next year's team as well.
There is a lot to look forward to for next year's team, and yeah, and just the beautiful thing about Hastings and Coach Fike is these are all Hastings boys.
Lundstrom for 3, no. Back out to Cloutier. Cloutier for 3, can't get there. Dimmick for 2, yes!
Hey, attaboy, Jackson!
Jackson Dimmick hits a 2, 87-62, and the stash is flowing. As Hill Murray with 16 seconds has the basketball.
You know, if I could have grown a stash like that in high school, I might have been a better player.
I gotta say, that's one of the best looking mustaches I've seen on a high schooler in a long time. As Jackson Dimmick gets the nice bucket there, and 8.2 left. Hill Murray will have time for one last shot. Drives in, scores 87-64, but what a win tonight for the Hastings Raiders. On senior night, good crowd on hand. Hastings gets it done, 87-64. They get their 6th win of the year, their 4th conference win, and they'll get a chance to move up even further in the conference standings against Simley on Friday.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting game, and Hastings is going to be ready to play. Simley will be too, but tune in, come watch us. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, that's going to probably wrap it up here for our HCTV broadcast here momentarily. Raiders get it done, 87-64. Producer director Hunter Pinkey. Camera operators are Max Slocum, Ian Andrzak, and Will Saline. I am Trey Lauer. He is Ross Albertson. And thanks for watching on HCTV. We'll be back on KDWA with a little bit more post-game coverage.